Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balaba Girivardhari Gopi Jana Balaba Girivardhari Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balaba Givanari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari 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 Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotaya Saraswati Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Shri Shri Nitai Sachi Sutta Ki Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Shabada Ki Shri Shri Radha Parasishwar Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Go Premanande Oh glorious to the assembled devotees Oh glorious to Shri Guru and Gauranga Oh glorious to Srila Prabhupada Namo Vishnu Vadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namani Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Vacharine Nivasesha Sanyavadi Pastachade Shatarine Jai Prabhupada Hare Krishna. Well, I guess you've already been welcomed this morning. I don't know if the temple welcomed.
Thank you for your welcome.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
And we wish
very, very merciful that Paris Ishra would come and see us, and London Ishra. I always think of London Ishra.
London Ishra, yeah. I'm the same too, because I joined there. I joined a little after Mandakini joined there, and she was the first devotee I ever saw. Yeah. So we have, it's kind of in our hearts. It's good. Here we are in Paris. It's like an expansion. I see Radha Paris Ishwar as being like very close, next to each other, deities. Your first time here?
Yes, it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a very beautiful project about 3 hours from here.
Yes.
Next time.
Next
time, okay. On your way back to when you go to India next time. Good.
We're coming from Mayapur, and just now it's
40 degrees,
47.
47, oh my goodness.
They're
Degrees Fahrenheit?
Yeah,
Fahrenheit.
No.
Here it's not even that.
I think it was 45.
Going between 45 and 47 on the hottest part of the day.
Mm.
They're having a heat wave. So.
You French devotees do not know what that is like unless you've been there. What to do. Yes, this is summer, by the way. Wait for the winter. No, it's not. It does get a little bit warmer here. What verse are we on today? 15 onwards?
16, 15.
15, 58, 16, 15. Okay. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 16, text number 15 onwards. Probably, I haven't read it, but it's a tiny little purport, just barely 2 lines. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Where's Mr. Rohit this morning?
School.
Oh, he's gone to school, has he? He's a long way away, is it? Ladavans. Phew. So text number 15. The Payovrata process of worship. Please repeat. Tasmat Isha Bhajantyaha Me Shreyaha Chintaya Tuvrata Ritashriyaha Ritastanan Sapatnayi Pahi Naha Prabho Tasmad Isha Bhajantyame Shreyas Chintaya Suvrata Ritashriyo Ritastanan Sapatnai Pahina Prabho Tasmadisha Bhajantyame Shreyash Chintaya Suvrata Ritashriyo Ritastanan Sapatnai Pahinak Prabho Tasmadisha Bhajantyame Shreyas Chintaya Suvrata Ritashriyo Ritastanan Sapatnai Pahinak Prabho Tasmadisha Bhajantyame Shreyas Chintaya Suvrata Ritashriyo Ritastanan Sapatnai Pahinak Prabho. Anyone like to chat?
Tasmadisha bhajantyame.
Tasmadisha bhajantyame.
Shreya shintaya suvrata.
Shreyaschintaya suvrata.
Rita shriyo rita stanam.
Rita shriyo ritastanan.
Sapatnai paina prabhu.
Sapatnai paina prabho.
Tasmadisha bhajantyame.
Tasmadisha bhajantyame.
Shreya chintaya suvrata.
Shreyaschintaya suvrata.
Rita shriyo rita sthanan.
Rita shriyo ritastanan.
Sapatnai pahina prabhu.
Sapatnai pahinak prabho. You gonna brave it? Tasmadisha bhajantyame. Shreyaschintaya suvrata. Rita shriyo ritastanan. Sapatnai pahinak prabho. Tasmat. Therefore. Isha. O powerful controller.
O powerful controller.
Bhajantyaha.
Bhajantyaha.
Of your servitor.
Of your servitor.
May. Me.
Me.
Shreyaha.
Shreyaha.
Auspiciousness.
Auspiciousness.
Chintaya.
Chintaya.
Just consider.
Just consider.
Suvrata.
Suvrata.
O most gentle one.
O most gentle one.
Krita Shriyaha.
Rita Shriya.
Bereft of all opulence.
Bereft of all opulence.
Ritastanan.
Rita Sthanan.
Bereft of a residence.
Bereft of a residence.
Sapatnaihi.
Sapatnai.
By the competitors.
By the competitors.
Pahi.
Pahi.
Please protect.
Please protect.
Naha.
Naha.
Us.
Us.
Prabho.
Prabhu.
O my Lord.
O my Lord.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, most gentle Lord, kindly favor your maidservant. We have now been deprived of our opulence and residence by our competitors, the demons. Kindly give us protection. It's a very short purport by Srila Prabhupada. Aditi, the mother of the demigods, appealed to Kashyapa Muni to give the demigods protection. When we speak of the demigods, this also includes their mother. And that's the end of the purport. It includes the whole family, the whole society. Not just what we sometimes hear, 33 crores of demigods. That's a lot, isn't it? A crore is how many? 10 million. So 33 times 10 million is how many? A lot. 330, yeah? 330 million, is that right? 330 million. That's a lot. What exactly that means? Sometimes we hear 33 million. Prabhupada has written both, or spoken both. But it's a lot, either way. The demigods, and obviously, they've got their families. They're not just, alone. They've got their families, their mothers and fathers, and their brothers and sisters, and their children and wives, and all sorts of servants, and you name it. It's a large community. Not just, it's like in Dwarka. How we all know Dwarka pastimes. Krishna book, Srimad Bhagavatam. How many wives does Krishna have? Well, that's very accurate. And each of them have how many children? No. 11. 11. They have Krishna could do anything he likes, but that's how it's described. 10 sons and 1 daughter. That's 11. And they all have the same, right? So it says it's like we heard about the pyramid, maybe going up, whichever way. But a lot of children and grandchildren, you multiply that. Okay, make it easy. Multiply by 10. 16,108. That's 161,000 children. You imagine having 161,000 children. Oh my God.
A small city.
Huh?
A small city of children.
Small?
A small city of children.
A small city of children. Yeah, just all here in this house, We're all staying here in this little house with 160,000 kids. Woo! And they are 10. So that's what? 1 million? Is it? 1,600,000 grandchildren? He knew them all. Because he's God. He can do anything. And that wasn't the end of it. That was just his. That was just his family. What to speak of? There were unlimited other members of the Yadu dynasty. Unlimited. It wasn't just Krishna and his family. Their family also related. But unlimited branches, uncles and cousins and friends and servants and you name it. All the very billions of people. Billions. Billions. How is that possible? Dwarka. How big is Dwarka? Well, because you can't see it now. But how big was it supposed to be? I can't remember. The exact, it gives a figure 84 square miles or something. It's not a very big area by material measure. But we can't measure the spirit. It's immeasurable. Immeasurable. Isn't it? Supposed to be. We give some indicative figure. But it's immeasurable. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said, anything you think you can measure is called Maya. Illusion. You cannot measure reality. Immeasurable. Everything is possible. I mean, we all have heard, probably, the story of Narada and the cobbler. Very simple class this morning. Narada and the cobbler. You know that story? Prirani, you know that story? Everyone else has run away. Where are they all gone? Where are all the girls? Where are they all run away to? Oh, the what's the name? Join us at work. You must have heard it, just forgotten. We don't hear these past. They're in the back. They're in the Chaitanya Church. I'm reading in purple. You see it here and there in Prabhupada speak. But many of these examples Prabhupada gives, we don't hear. Very nice example. Narada Muni, he was visiting various devotees. He came across a Brahmana who was very erudite, very learned Brahmin. He knew all the Shastras, he knew all the mantras, the Mula mantras, and this and that, all the very impressive Brahmana, very austere. And everyone looked up to him and said, wow, what a great devotee. So he came there and he offered his pranams to Narada Muni, and Narada, how fortunate I am that you've come to my ashram. Oh, wonderful. But just where are you? When somebody comes, one of the first questions you ask is, where are you going? Huh? Where are you coming from? Where are you going? So I've just come from Lord Narayan. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Amazing. And where are you going? I'm moving around a little bit. Then I'm going back to Vaikuntha to see Lord Narayan. Oh, really? Please ask him. Please ask Lord Narayan, just to confirm my convictions. I've been practicing this sadhana, this mantra, this process, and so many things. I just want to confirm that this is indeed, as I expect it to be, my last lifetime in this world. And then I will go back to Vaikuntha. Okay, my dear Brahmin, I will certainly request or ask the Lord on your behalf. So he left there, the Brahmin, with his mantras and so on. And then he happened to come across a cobbler, a simple cobbler. You know what a cobbler is? A cobbler? What's a cobbler? Shoes. Banging nails or whatever, banging the leather into shape, making shoes. Not considered to be a very elevated occupation on the Vedic standards, at least. I don't know if they still have them in the West. Do they, cobblers?
Yeah, they do.
They still got.
They're a very unique craft.
A unique craft, indeed. It's a very specialized thing. Now, it used to be, all the shoes were made like that. Now, mostly they're made in factories, I think, isn't it? Factory made. But there's a unique craft and a specialized craft, special ahimsa shoes. We have these ahimsa shoes. I would make them from some grass, or I have a pair of shoes made from sugar cane. Sugar cane, not the juice, the cane. Probably they took the juice out, I think. Very, very sweet shoes. Masikananda brought them for me. And anyway, it's an art. Or is it one of the occupations? Part of what they call the sector of society called antajas. They're not officially part of the Varna ashram, but they have their place. So he was a cobbler, and he's dealing with leather, but he's singing Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. He's singing the names of Krishna. So when Narada came, he was overwhelmed. He fell on the floor, full of underbutts. He was completely overwhelmed to get the association of such a saint in his, can't say whatever, in his home, in his place of occupation. And Narada came there, he saw him, and oh, how fortunate am I to be blessed by you, Narada. Please bless me. I can't imagine, I'm such a sinner. I can't imagine ever being able to attain the lotus feet of my Lord. And he said, my dear Narada, please, where are you going? Where are you heading for? What has caused you to come here, to my humble abode? And he said, well, actually, I'm on the way to see Lord Narayan. Oh, my Lord Narayan! Oh! He started crying. Please, beg the Lord, if ever in eternity will I ever be able to become free of my sinful life and my sinful desires and be able to serve the Lord with a pure heart. So Narada Muni said, okay, I'll request him. So Narada Muni went back to Vaikuntha. Lord, oh, how did it go? Did you teach on your journey? Oh, yes, my Lord. Did they ask you a question? The Lord had orchestrated everything. Actually, my Lord, they did. And what was the question? Well, the Brahmin asked that if you could just confirm that this was indeed his last lifetime in the material world. The cobbler said, would it ever be possible that he could ever come out of this material world and serve you here in the spiritual realm? So Lord Narayan replied, yes, you can go back now and inform them that indeed you have seen me. So, and you can tell them, they will ask you, please, when you give the answer, then they will ask, please tell me something about Lord Narayan. So you can tell the cobbler, tell the Brahmin, that he will have many, many, many more lifetimes in the material world before he comes back to Godhead. And you can tell the cobbler that he's coming back to home in this very lifetime. This is his last birth. Narada was perplexed. How is this? The cobbler is engaged in sinful activity in one sense. He's a simple cobbler. He doesn't know much about the Vedas. He's not even in the Varnashram system, practically. How is this possible? The Brahmin is worshipped. Many people worship him, practically. He's worshipping deities, he's chanting mantras, he's performing yajnas, he's very learned, he's very austere. He's following all the rules. How is this? Well, you'll see. When they ask the question, you give this answer. They will ask a question. So please tell me, what is Lord Narayan doing? And you answer, He is threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. You know what the eye of a needle is? You know, you get a needle, you sew. It's a little tiny, those matters, you know what, maybe if you do sewing, the ladies usually are very familiar. Men may not be so familiar, but there's a little tiny hole at the, kind of the, not the sharp end, the soft end of the needle, and you put the thread through it, huh? And you pull the thread through. So he was threading an elephant through that little tiny eye of a needle. So, okay. So now they went back to the earth, and he first went to the Brahmin, kind of curious about all of this, you could say, a bit perplexed. And so the Brahmin, Nada, you have returned. Oh, good, jolly good. Did you see our Lord Narayan? Oh, yes, my dear Brahmin, I did. Oh, very good, very good. Tell me the good news. Tell me the good news. And he said, well, I'm not sure if you'll take it as good news or not, but Lord Narayan said you're going to have to spend many lifetimes in this world still. The Brahmin said, what nonsense! Really? He said like that? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you even saw him. Tell me, if you actually saw him, then tell me what he was doing. And then Narada said, he was threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. Ha! Ah, what nonsense! You rascal, this is all rubbish! I don't believe a word you say. You never saw Lord Narayan. Bow, away with you! He got really angry. Couldn't believe a word of it. No faith. No faith. Just pride only. Some reason, karmic or otherwise, he had all these qualities, but he was proud. Proud. What's the use of it all? Decoration of a dead body. Putting a jewel on a serpent doesn't make the serpent, whatever, less dangerous. It makes them more dangerous. So, may have all good qualities in material sense of the term, all opportunity. When pride is there, boom. Oh, he could understand, my goodness. Whew. Then he went to the cobbler. What's the cobbler going to say? If the Brahmin said that, the cobbler, wait a minute. The Lord told me this is his last lifetime. So he went to the cobbler. Boom, 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 boom. Govinda Jai Jai, Gopala Jai Jai. Oh, Narada. Oh. He offers a basin and says, oh, please. Oh, how fortunate I am. Did you see Lord Narayan? Please tell me something about my Lord. Tell me something, please. I just want to hear about him. Well, the Lord told me to tell you that this is your last lifetime. Oh, how is this possible? I don't believe it. He's all merciful, but I'm such a sinner. I'm so unqualified. I can't believe this is a mercy. His mercy is unending. I can't believe it. Anyway, never mind. Tell me something about Lord Narayan. What was he doing? What was he doing? What's going on? And then Narada said, he's threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. Oh, how wonderful my Lord is. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Narada said, you believe this? Do you really believe it? We have the same thing, huh? Do you really believe what it says in the Bhagavatam? Krishna has 1,600,000 and whatever it is, thousand grandchildren. More than that, 1,800,000, well, whatever it is, grandchildren. And that Ugrasena has trillions of bodyguards. Do you believe this? Maybe not. Or maybe we just say, well, it's interesting. Go on to the next thing. But he completely had, how? You really believe this? Narada said. Why not? He said, why not? And he picked up just one acorn, not really an acorn, but one seed, the seed of a banyan tree. I don't know what they look like, but the seed of a banyan tree. He picked this up. What is the difficulty to believe this? See this little teeny, I guess they're small seeds. This little tiny seed, inside there, in that little seed, is the potential to produce a huge banyan tree. This is nothing for the Lord. He can do anything he likes. He's inconceivable. Everything is contained within the atom in one sense. And even materially. I'm not a scientist, I don't know if any of you are. But they say, correct me if I'm wrong, but they say within even one cell, I don't know, maybe an atom also, but at least let's take a cell, one. How many cells have you got in your body? How many cells?
Trillions.
Trillions, okay. So they say trillions, and we can't conceive of trillions. In the tip of the finger there are so many cells you can hardly count them. Masika, is that right? It is, you sure? You were in the medical world to some degree, weren't you? To some degree. Yeah, huh? He forgot. He lost count. He was counting and he lost count. And unlimited. And they're all living entities. And even the scientist cell, one little cell, if you look at it under some powerful microscope, extremely powerful, they say you can see like a whole city in there. It's like a whole city. So complex. I can't imagine it being more complex than Paris, but it's very complex. All kinds of things going on. It's inconceivable to us. We can't see any. Have you ever seen a cell? I don't mean a prison cell. Have you ever seen a cell? So one day one of your cells pops out, hey, look, I'm not satisfied with the way you're treating me. The cells go on, they have a revolution, a coup. I've never seen a cell. They're all there. Who knows what's going on? God knows, as they say, but nobody else really knows. It's incredible how many living entities are just in our own, what we call our own body. Our consciousness may be very limited, but it's unlimited. We're carrying, you could say, in this one body, more living entities than you can imagine, than we can count. Isn't it incredible? There are species of life that give birth to millions of offspring. I've heard. Some spawn, some fishes or frogs or something. They can give birth to hundreds of thousands of eggs. I don't know what happens to them all. There's so many fishes. Unlimited fishes. How many fishes are there in the ocean? You can't count, can you? How many waves are there on the ocean? How many? Sit on the seashore, count them. Huh? Go to Biarritz, okay? That's a holiday resort in France. Go to Biarritz, sit on the shore and count the waves. How many are there? They never stop coming, right? Yeah. You can stay there for eternity and there's still another one. They never stop. It's immeasurable. Krishna consciousness is immeasurable. Different dimension, we could say. So you can't count. It's inconceivable. How many are there? Cells in the body, living entities here and there. From their point of view, they're seeing a little world. They can't see the bigger picture. We only see a little tiny world, which we think is this big. Prabhupada gives another simple example. What's that simple example he gives to? Don't forget these things. These are very simple. We get high philosophy and all these kind of like intimate pastimes and analysis of our minds and different techniques how to control our mind to do the simplest thing that exists, chant Hare Krishna, and so on and so forth. And we forget all these simple things which help us to remember the actual, you could say, application. Simple example Prabhupada gives us of the limitations that we have on, we could say, the greater energies of God. It's called the frog in the well. And I guess everyone's heard that one. That's a really simple one, isn't it? The Frog in the Well. You should do it in French, a drama. We used to do them on the street in London. We used to do these dramas on the street. You know, Sanatan and the Touchstone, the Genie in the Bottle, the Frog in the Well. You do all these dramas on the street. Boomer Dave, you know Boomer Dave? Oh, God, brother. I don't know if you know Boomer Dave. Lives in Detroit now. Actor. And we used to, obviously we would be with him sometimes on the traveling festival program. We'd do these dramatic performances right there on, just out of the blue on the street, you know. Many places we did this. This is a famous one, the Frog in the Well, huh? The frog. Yeah, I'm sure you've all seen frogs, I don't know, in a well, but you've all seen frogs in a water somewhere. As far as they're concerned, that water is the extent of the universe. That's it. They can't see beyond it. They can't imagine. We can't imagine anything beyond our measurable means. We speculate sometimes. But we can't see it. We can't really contain it. It's Takshri Krishna Namadina Bhavad Grayam Indriye Seva Mukhi Jivado Swayamevas Paratyadaha. With our material senses, we cannot comprehend. We cannot understand. Same thing, comprendre. Comprehend. We cannot comprehend it. It's beyond our ability to grasp. Limited. Our senses are very limited. We tend to see things with ourself in the center, and according to our senses, that much we can perhaps have some grasp of. And even then we have to have it explained by others, mostly. We have very limited perception. So we're like frogs in the well. This universe, what to speak of this planet, or this body which we're in, it's just like a little tiny drop of water. There are countless universes. That's another inconceivability, isn't it? From a material point of view. What to speak of the unlimited spiritual realm. It's all inconceivable to a conditioned soul, you could say. But even the material situation we're in now is practically inconceivable if we really get down to it. I asked, how many fishes are there in the ocean? Does anyone know? Well, it's a lot, because they say, according to their statistics, do you know how many fishes are caught every day for human consumption? Do you know how many? According to statistics, anyway. 8 billion. Every day.
One planet every day.
Pardon? One per person.
One planet.
Exactly. Most of those fishes are thrown back in the water dead. They're useless for human tongue. 8 billion a day. That's their estimate anyway. No one can count exactly. But that's the estimate. So you can imagine how many fishes there are in the ocean. You can't imagine. It's immeasurable to us. Whether that figure is right or wrong, I'm not the one to ask. That's the figure they give. It's incredible. We kill 8 billion fish a day just for our sense gratification. What to speak of the hundreds of millions of other creatures that we kill for the same reason. It's incredible. Anyway, that's not directly related, but it just gives an example of, the immeasurability, even of our own tiny little well. So the frog is in the well, and he only knows his well. He's well in his well. It might be in hell, but he's well in his well. And he had a friend in the well, and the friend went on holiday one day. And he had a shock of his life. He saw the ocean. He went to the beach, to Biarritz. And he had a shock of his life. My God, what a big well this is. He just thought it was a big well. I've never seen such a big well in my life. I can't believe it. Incredible. What a big well. We can have hundreds of frogs in this well. It's incredible. I've got to go back and tell my friend. Incredible news. So he went back to, give them names, okay? What names should we give the frogs? Fred. Freddy the Frog. Fred, another name. Come on. Huh? Fred, but what the other one? Two of them. Fred's in the well. The other one?
George.
George. Okay, that's a good old name. Fred and George, both good old. My dad's name was Fred. Good old names. So George came back after his world tour. He hitchhiked all over the world, and he saw the great ocean. He came back. George, welcome back, George. Wow, where did you go? Where have you been? Oh, Fred, you'll never believe where I've been. Come on, tell me. I have been to a place where there's such a big well. You can't believe how big it is. Can't believe it. Bigger than my well? Oh, Fred, much bigger. Really? How much bigger? Much bigger. I mean, you know, frogs have got this, what do they call it? Like a pouch, like a big puffs up, you know, and they get excited. He started puffing up his pouch, you know. Bigger than this. Oh, Fred, come on. Much bigger. Oh, bigger than that. Bigger than this. Like you're blowing up a balloon, you know. Bigger and bigger and bigger. Boom, 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 boom! And he exploded. Big bang as he burst. We can't measure it by looking at our own examples. We try to. So demigods, this is all inconceivable, isn't it? The mind of an ordinary person. So they cast it off as mythology. The original root of that word, or mythology if you pronounce it English-wise. They just, anything we can't conceive, it dismissed. We're all like frogs in a well, let's face it. Frogs in a well. And we try to analyze and measure and so on and so forth. As the heart becomes purified, everything becomes conceivable. The Lord gives that, you could say, vision. Even the nature of the soul is inconceivable. No one can grasp. Even we may accept that we're a soul, that consciousness is coming from that soul, that we're residing at this moment, you could say, within this frame. But to actually realize the self is another thing, isn't it? To actually realize our identity. Well, what is that? How does that take place? That realization. How do we get that realization? Is it through analysis? Is it through study of the phenomena around us? How do we get that realization of our true identity if we accept that there is such a existence? How do we get that realization?
By practice devotional service.
Well, that's our faith, isn't it? We have faith that this practice of devotional service will lead to that realization. But is there anything more than just faith?
Mercy.
Mercy, descending mercy, yes.
Knowledge.
Pardon?
Mercy in the form of knowledge.
What was that?
Mercy in the form of knowledge.
Mercy in the form of knowledge, yeah, descending knowledge, not speculative knowledge. You know, even that isn't speculative knowledge exactly. It's like philosophical speculation that's talked about there. In other words, they apply their speculative or their inquisitive intellect to the Shastra. They don't just speculate like the scientist who never understand the truth. It's only when we apply that tendency to Shastric or descending knowledge, we could say. To attain, I guess you have captured, I guess, by that, following that path which evokes the mercy, descending mercy, which clears away the ignorance or the doubts or the darkness which is shrouding our consciousness. Just like how do you see the say, for instance, you can't really see the sun. Let's give another example. The moon. How do you see the moon?
At night.
See it at night, that's true. You can't probably see it in the day. Sometimes you can see. But in general, okay, let's go beyond the day-night situation. What else do we need to see the sun, to see the moon?
The reflection of the sun.
But, well, that's the scientific perspective there. But from our perspective, pardon?
You must know that there is the moon.
Okay, some knowledge is there. But even if you don't have knowledge, you might see it, but you don't know what it is. You just think it's a kind of... I mean, the town I came from, it's funny actually you should mention that. I come from a town in England, and the nickname, are you a nickname? It's got a different nicknames that people call the town goes by the name the Moonrakers, or the football team. It used to be called the Moonrakers because there was a story there, and it's right near where I lived actually, the canal. There was a story in history a few hundred years ago of this thief. He was a robber, and he was stealing. And he stole this casket. You know, casket's like a big barrel of something, cheese, I think it was. And he stole it, and he was being chased by the police. So he came to the canal, and he pushed it into the canal. And it happened to be a full moon night. And he pushed his barrel into the canal, so it was under the water. And then he saw there was a rake. A rake is the sort of thing you rake. You pulled, in the garden like this. You rake the garden. And he saw, he was clever, he picked up the rake, and he saw the full moon was in there, in the water. Huh? So he started raking the reflection of the full moon, like this. Police came along. They didn't know what he looked like, they were just seeing him from a distance, chasing. They saw this guy there. What's this guy doing? What are you doing? There's a big ball of cheese in the water there. I'm trying to get it out with my rake. They thought, this guy's mad, and then the police ran on and disappeared in the opposite direction. When they'd gone, he took the rake and raked the casket out of the water and went the opposite way. He was clever, so the town became known as the Moonrakers. It's not a barrel of cheese, It's not even the moon, it's a reflection. Huh? You can see the reflection. You can't see the reality. You can see the reflection is there. Huh? How did we get on? Oh, we were talking about the moon, and you said you've got to know that the moon is there. Okay, from the reflection, if we're a little bit, let's say, in a little bit of common sense, it may not be the real thing, but you can conceive that there must be something real that's being reflected. Have you ever looked in a mirror? Who hasn't looked in a mirror? especially the ladies, I'm told, I don't know. I'm told they like to make sure that their hair is in place and this and that is in place. But the men may not be quite so much, but the men looking for the TLAC maybe and something else maybe, I don't know. But we all look in the mirror, and if you look in the mirror and you see a monkey's face in the mirror, you're going to have a bit of a shock, huh? Or even worse, you see a cockroach face or something. You're gonna, my God, what's going on here? I've turned into a cockroach. You think, you expect it to be what you think you are, So the material, what is a reflection? It may be a little perverted. Have any of you been into these hall of mirrors? You must have been. You were from hall of mirrors when you were a kid, right? Huh?
You get a reflection, offer reflection, unlimitedly.
You get all kinds of different, unique. Depends on type of mirror it is. They have all kinds of mirrors within mirrors, and as you say, you can see hundreds of yourself, like Mother Yasoda looking into to Krishna's mouth, the universal form. She saw herself, and she saw herself inside the mouth, and then she saw herself inside herself. It went on and on and on. So that's there, and it's also the usual one that gets the kids especially is the convex and concave mirrors, which make you look like a stick. The next one make you look like a fat barrel, or your head's like a pea, and your body is like and then like a mountain, you know, and you got legs this big and, you know, head that big, you know, all different shapes and sizes, and you have a laugh. You know it's a perverted reflection. You don't get freaked out. Maybe you do if you don't know, but it's like, you know, you have a laugh, you know. This world's a perverted reflection of reality. What you're seeing is a perverted. But it has, if there's nothing to reflect, you won't see anything in the mirror.
So,
Convex or
Maharaj,
concave?
you're saying conception. Your
Pardon?
conception then. It's not even perception.
Presumption?
No, it's not even perception. It's the concept, the conception. That's the reflection.
The concept?
Yeah, the conception that each person has, they have to conceive.
Yeah.
And that reflection, if it's impure,
It'll be
then
different.
they can't conceive. Then that's it.
Yeah, that's it. What we perceive. The whole process of Krishna consciousness is perceptual change, which naturally results in conceptual acceptance. But it's a perceptual change of how we see things. This is the change of how we see things. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, actually, it's not what we see, but how we see. How we see, the same thing. Every living entity sees the same thing differently. Whether you call it a hall of mirrors or you call it the conditioning of the modes of nature and the various set of senses that we're all covered by. So there's one thing to see the moon, there's a covering. If it's a cloudy night, can you see the moon? Can you see it? Someone said yes and someone said no. Can we see it on a fully cloudy night? I don't know about last night, but some nights there's a complete cloud covering. Even if the moon's there, can you see it? Not really. You might be able to see some, you may not know where it's coming from, but some energy, some light coming through. You might be able to. A little dimness. You may not know where it's coming from, but it's there.
But
so
you don't call it the moon either.
Pardon?
You don't call it the moon either, even if you saw a light that you know is the moon, okay, and the clouds are there, but you don't call that the moon.
No, you don't call it the moon.
light.
Exactly. You call it light. We don't necessarily think the sun. We say, we call the sun light the sun, but it's not. It is and it isn't. You know what I mean? It's the energy of the sun, no doubt. So the energy of the moon, well, we may not call it moonlight. We just light. It's limited, very, very limited. Our consciousness is covered. We're like covered by the clouds. The moon is not covered. We're covered. Covered by the clouds. When the clouds break, wow, what's that up there? Whoa, what is it? Is it a UFO? Is it a lump of cheese in the sky? Is it an illusion? What is it? You know,
Is it the sun?
You might say, is it the sun? But no, wait a minute, the sun, I can't look at the sun, it's too bright. But it looks the same size. It looks the same size, actually, as the sun, more or less. There are light, we all know there's light maybe reflected or coming from whatever, that's another subject, from the moon. But if there are clouds in the sky, you can't see it. If you're always in the clouds, you don't know what is that. You've never heard of it. And if you're living in a place where everyone's been under the clouds, they've never been beyond it. What they call it, Plato's cave. There's a famous philosophical history of Plato's cave.
That's a good one.
Huh?
That's a good one.
It's a very good one. Living in a cave your whole life.
Many people could say that could be Krishna consciousness in a nutshell.
Yeah, it is. In one sense, it's a description of the illusion which generally we're in, the limitations of our understanding what's beyond the cave. And even if there is some, you could say, indication or the entry of that which is beyond, we see it opposite. We see it as like a reflection and just some shadows on the wall and what have you. We're like that. We're in the cave. We're just seeing shadows on the wall. And we're coming to conclusion. What conclusion can we have of that which is outside the cave? When we're just seeing the reflection of what is outside the cave. There's some relationship there, but we cannot, our perception with our consciousness cannot really grasp it. We speculate. So the scriptures are there to help us to use that tendency of analysis, but in relationship to the actual reality, not just the illusion or the pictures. Because we all see it differently, and we argue with each other. Whose is this? It's mine. No, it's not. It's mine. My theory, your theory, our conclusion, my conclusion, my this, my that. We're all fighting with each other in this dreamlike world, this reflective world. But there is a reality. The reflection cannot exist, you could say, without a reality. The modes of nature you could say, through that means, the reality is being reflected into this world. You know what they call it, a prism or something? You put a light through?
Prism.
Prism?
Yeah, a light prism. There's
Light prism.
different, like as we're looking forward, the light reflects in different colors.
So many different colors. It's beautiful. If
We
you've
can't
ever
see all of them either.
You can't see it. It's just
They're
one.
here, but we
They
can't
can't
see
see
them
it.
right now.
And that's right, according to our present situation. But even if you do have a prism, and you do have the ability or the means to see the reflected light, it's incredible. One light comes in, multiple lights are going out, different colored lights are going out. I don't know if there's anything to do with the northern lights. If you ever go to Reykjavik in Iceland, you may be able to see what they call the northern lights, all kinds of amazing colors in the sky.
Something like that. It is something.
Something like that?
A play of that.
Yeah, something related. It's incredible. And if you wouldn't believe it if you've never seen it. You're just making it up. You took too much LSD, or something. Whatever it is. People won't believe it. The frog in the well couldn't believe it. We can't believe it that there's a spiritual world with unending, unlimited. And when you read the Ramayana, we were discussing Ramayana a few weeks ago, Ramnomi. And we were not so much touching on the details of the pastime so much. We're looking at other factors, how to actually understand it rather than what it is to understand. But we did bring one or 2 points up, and one of those points was related to the description given in the Ramayana, for instance, of the armies. I don't know if not all the Ramayans give this, but if you look at some of the more, let's say, developed, which give more information, Ravana had spies. They all have spies. Someone asked me to be a spy the other day as well, to find out what was going on behind the scenes with a certain devotee. No one you know, and there's nothing international level. I'm not really going to do that. No. Anyway, they asked. So his name was, what was his name? Sukha and I can't remember, Sharana, I think. Sukha and Sharana, two most important spies of Ravana. So they went to check out the army of Ram. Ravana was getting more and more worried at every moment as he was hearing more and more news of the impending approach of Ramchandra and his army. And the news was spreading that there's this enormous, huge number of monkeys and baboons and bears who were crossing the ocean to Lanka. Just take the bridge which they built, for instance. How big was the bridge? Was it bigger than, what's the most famous bridge in Paris? Come on, you're from France, you guys, some of you. What's the most famous bridge in Paris? What's that bridge that goes over to, I don't know, now memory of Paris is slipping. On the other side is the, No, well there's another one, very big one, a beautiful bridge. There's like the Sun Palace on one side. On the other side, if you go further, there's a statue of Napoleon, and what do they call it, where the War Museum or something is. It's really beautiful. You go across this bridge. Huh? Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. You get it if I can remember the name. Anyway, it's really beautiful. There's like a palace. And Peter Vass told me it was actually the Sun King on his chariot on the roof. They got these statues on the roof and things.
I think they said the Ramayana, well, to my last recollection, 80 miles. I think it was 80-mile bridge or something.
Okay, we'll say what it describes. It's bigger than that bridge, by the way. It's bigger than the biggest bridge in Paris. I know the biggest. Bigger than the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't know, that's big.
Alexandre.
Huh?
It's the bridge name is Alexandre.
Alexander?
Yes.
Some Alzheimer's?
Alzheimer's.
No, Alexander's?
Alexander Bridge.
Something like that. Okay, that.
Alexander.
Alexander's Bridge, okay, whoever it is. Somebody, Alexander the Great Bridge, okay.
It's called the
There we
most
go.
beautiful bridge.
Beautiful bridge, and very big bridge, but it's nothing. Peanuts compared to the bridge that they built across to the ocean. And they didn't have to have columns going into the ocean. The brick, the stones, the rocks, the mountains, the trees were all floating. And it wasn't just like that. They arranged it so that there were all kinds of beautiful vegetation on top, so it was soft and flat.
Mountains.
It was beautiful. It was mountains, but they weren't. Imagine walking on mountains up and down. It's like, even walking in Bruges on some of the pericamas is very, all these stones sticking in your feet, thorns. It wasn't like that. It was soft like a carpet. It was like a soft carpet, the whole bridge, although it was made of stone.
With Ram's name.
With Ram's name on the side, so they say. All over. And the bridge was said to be, how big? 8 yojanas wide.
8 yojanas.
No, 10 yojanas wide and 100 yojanas long. 10 yojanas is 80 miles. That's 130 kilometers wide. And 10 times that long.
Okay, so I got 80 right, but not that.
Oh, you can imagine, a lot of entities could cross that bridge, even by material measure. Say
The
monkeys.
whole planet.
Or easily cross that bridge. So that's what the bridge was. So Ravana was becoming a little perplexed hearing all these things. So when Sharana and Sukha went there to check him out, they actually got caught. Because Bibhishan was part of Ram's army and he knew who they were. They couldn't get away with it. Even though they were in disguise, birds. He knew who they were. So they got caught, but they released them after a bit of a beating. And they went back to report what was, and they told him, you cannot measure that army. You cannot measure it. And he started to give descriptions from the Vedic measurement point of view. And I mean, the Mahabkosha, this Krosha, this thing, all kinds of Vedic measurements were there. And it turned, you cannot count the number. I started to count it. I put a 1 in the front, and I put notes. I went a long time ago, and I was bored. I started trying to work this out. And I filled up 3 full pages with a 1 in the front with zeros behind. And I didn't come to the end. I gave up. I was a naughty boy, so you suddenly had to make them write down like this. Inconceivable. It is not possible to conceive. This is ridiculous. This is crazy. Huh? Even may say like that. Okay. Why? Prabhupada one time said that why? Because the people they don't want to surrender. They don't want to serve Krishna. They don't want to accept that they're servants of God. They don't want to accept these things. We want to be God. We want to be controllers. We want to be enjoyers. We want to be proprietors. We want to think that we're helping others. In other words, we're in Maya. And we want to stay in Maya. Isn't it? People don't want to get out of Maya. Right? Isn't it? Who wants to get out of Maya? You are not a normal person. You're crazy. Who wants to get out of Maya? You guys are, come on, get real. What about the real world, they say, huh? You talk about Krishna. That's all nice, maybe, I don't know. But what about the real world? The real world, this one. This is the real world, man. Isn't it?
What can you produce? What can you accomplish? What can you exhibit?
That's what they say to us?
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to see something in their world which is related to them, huh?
What can you contribute to our world?
Yeah, exactly. That's all there is. And God is useless if he doesn't contribute to our world also. What's the use of him? What's the use of you? You're not doing, guys are not even working. I have to pay tax to support people like you. You're just disturbing the place. I'm trying to sit here in my restaurant having some wine and cheese, and you guys come along making a blooming noise. I can't even talk to my girlfriend. Get out of here. You're useless.
You're
Your books, I know, what is this? I can't understand a word of it. What is this? You're just after money, you guys. Isn't it? You can't understand a word. They're an illusion. They're covered by the clouds completely. They can't understand anything. They're in darkness. It's so thick clouds, even the moon rays cannot, even the sun rays can't penetrate practically. So thick.
Everything is fictitious.
Huh?
Everything is fictitious.
Everything's what?
Fictitious.
Fictitious. It's a myth. It's all rubbish. I can't see it. I can't taste it. I can't touch it. I didn't learn that at school. Even my teacher didn't tell me that. My mum never told me that. Where are you getting this stuff from? It's all Indian. India's just flipping, they're all monkeys over there. They don't know nothing. They're all beggars.
But they believe in the queen who's sitting before them.
The queen?
The queen, right. But they believe in what they see. Oh, the queen's here? Okay.
The queen's here.
The entrance.
But she's gone now.
Yes.
She's not here anymore.
Yes.
She's gone. Got a king now. Changing of the queen to the king, yeah. Yeah, you believe what you see. And even that you question sometimes. Someone else tells you no, it's something else. Everyone's got a different perception.
She just makes shoes back there. She just looks like she comes out for 5 minutes and then she like a hen in the box, and then cuckoo, cuckoo, the clock. Cuckoo, 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 walk, 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 walk. And goes back in again after quacking for a little while. Whether they exist, anyway, that's another subject. But this inconceivability. So then Sharna and Sukha, they reported like this. It's inconceivable, their army. How is it possible? In Lanka. Lanka is just a small block of land, in the ocean there. Maybe it was different. It's described as a different place in the Vedas, actually. It's not the same block of land that we call Lanka now. But whatever it is, it's not big by material measure. How is it that 50,000 trillion, 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 on and on and on, monkeys, baboons and bears are there? When Ravana stood up on his parapet, the highest point of his city, his golden city of Lanka, he looked out. He could not see the horizon in any direction. It was just one big brown carpet in every direction, beyond the horizon of monkeys, baboons and bears in every direction. There wasn't a square inch practically to spare. They were packed. But what to say? I don't know how you can describe it. Lining?
Huh?
A silver lining on the horizon.
Yeah, the effulgence on the horizon, you could say. Of monkeys and baboons and bears going beyond what he could see, beyond his perception. But then, for pastimes, everything it's like in the world of the lotus, everything's coming and it opens up. It looks like small, clamped in. According to the circumstance, it opens up and unlimited petals, unlimited opportunities are there, unlimited, and then it can close up again, open it. Anything's possible. We can't, that's a very hard concept for most people, because we don't have the perception.
Ravana was very intelligent, right? They were describing Ravana has unlimited knowledge of different.
Yeah, he was very clever. He said he even defeated Brihaspati. In philosophy, he could defeat Narada in music. When Hanuman went there, he thought it was Ram. He had such a beautiful form, he thought it was Ram at first. And he had this mark on his chest, of course, Irava's tusk had pierced him. And there was a mark there, and that's how he recognized him. Otherwise, he was thinking, is this Ram? Am I dreaming, or what's going on here? He was very beautiful. We all see him as like an ogre, a monster or something, But he could also look like that. He had 10 heads. That's another subject. We always show him like with a guy walking along with a stick with 10 heads on or something. That's not necessarily what it was like, by the way.
The door is not big enough for that one.
We can't measure that one, Or, somebody who's got like millions of eyes on their body or something. You can't really measure these things by our own limited experience.
But we're all sitting here in our concept, and we're surrendered to this concept.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we all look at the beautiful form of Radha Paraseshwara, Nitai Sachi Sutra and Jagat Baladev Subhadra,
we're all trying to become servants and devotees. So we all have some favorable reciprocation, but we're still going to see differently. I'm not going to ask us to discriminate in front of their lordships, but in one sense, one of you will see, oh, I really find one of the deities, so attractive. And they'll say, no, I find another deity they're very attractive, but more attractive. And I say, why, everyone will have a slightly different relationship, because we're all slightly seeing it differently. Ultimately, because we're individuals. But in the conditioned world, that individuality is, let's say, seen through the way we perceive things. And that will be there on the spiritual realm also. It's the living entity's personal, individual nature and their relationship with the Supreme. That applies in every situation that exists. We'll all see differently. Or maybe you don't like, see, I haven't got my glasses on. Some of you are perhaps wearing glasses, I can't see. Now, today the dress of the days are green, right? They're in green?
Purple.
Green. Green. You're also dressed in green today.
Could be.
You might see it like that. You may set that colour as green, or that colour isn't green. You're conditioned differently. Are you heading off? Did you see a lavity?
I'm waiting. I have no news.
Still no news.
I have to go on a Zoom program. So please forgive me.
Where are you going?
On a Zoom program.
Oh, Zoom program.
Yeah.
You're going on Zoom.
In space and time.
Whoa.
We've been with the Russian devotees. We've invited Yadubara and Vishaka.
Who are you Zooming with?
Yadubara, Vishaka.
Yadabar and Vishaka.
For the Russian devotees.
Russian devotees. Are you translating?
No.
Just attending. You're attending and also part of the speaking.
Inviting them.
Wow, you're hosting it. Fantastic. Right, well, offer my obeisance to Yadavar and Vishaka, please. Please do it. All the wonderful devotees who are fortunate enough to get their association, and yours. Thank you, Mandakini. If you do see Ilavati, she doesn't really know me. We only met twice in our lives, I think. Offer her my obeisances anyway, and best wishes. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Oh, didn't start. I was going to go in a completely different direction. Okay, well, we're finished there.
Oh, no, don't finish.
No, everyone's leaving.
No, I'm just standing.
Everyone's had enough. Now their perception is going out of the door towards the prasadam room. And the other sense, not just the sensual, the eyes, but the tongue, is starting to think, if I don't go now, there might not be anything left. So we better go now. We're going to pick our bags up and go outside and sit our bags down and fill our bags up with whatever our demand of our tongue may be in a few moments. So we all see it a little differently. So Shastras are there to help us, at least, even if we see it differently. There are different rasas, there are different relationships, there are different... Everything is flavored. Everyone has a slightly different experience when you taste the prasadam. Some like spices, some don't. Some like sweet, some don't. Some like fried, some don't. Some like eggplant, some don't. Some like American food, some like Indian food. Some like Chinese food, some like Italian food. Some like it all, some don't like any of it. Everyone's different. Some like potatoes, some don't. Everybody has a different experience. It's the same object, but a different experience. Not the object that's changing, it's our perception or our sensual perception of the object. We're the same, the object is the same, in one sense, we're all individuals, but the perceptivity or the way we relate to it is different. So, and everyone, therefore, there's an obvious reason why people argue and fight over things and disagree with each other. And we may accept someone because we don't know, and someone else accepts someone else because they don't know, and that person we accept doesn't know either. So we're all going around in this darkness of Plato's cave, and someone comes along and starts talking about something outside of our experience, or outside of what we've heard from others' experience, or what we've heard from history, and so on and so forth, and accept it as truth. We don't accept it. Simple as that. So one thing the darkness that's covering our hearts has to be removed. And then when the darkness is removed, so the process is to remove Nityasiddha Krishna Prem Sajakavanai Shravanada Shuri Chiti Kari Udai. When the heart is cleansed, then automatically one can see. When the clouds are removed, you may be blinded at first, you may curse. Of course you can turn your back to it, and that's what most people do. And one of the reasons Prabhupada said that Krishna is displays his inconceivabilities even in our own body or structure of the body, everything is inconceivable, is because people get captivated by the reflection, the inconceivable reflection, and they forget the reality. They forget where from it's coming. You know, they dismiss it as ridiculous, unreal.
They're going to forget that they're going to die. Right?
That's another thing. Even within the realm of our own experience, they may forget that even death is going to come along. They're going to forget. If you go through a time journey, you know, it wasn't so long ago that, and I'm not saying they're right or wrong, either one or the other, but not so long ago, the general accepted understanding was the earth was flat. Now the general understanding is not, everyone believes this or that, but most people accept that the earth is round. There was a time when everyone accepted the earth was the center of the universe. Now they accept the sun is the center of the universe. They change. How can we prove one or the other? We accept or we don't accept. You have no means of proof. You accept or you don't. So people accept these theories, atomic theory, relativity, and so many theories which come up, and many of them they stand firm for some time. Usually you'll see when they're accepted as truths, you will find they have their origins in Vedic knowledge, whether it's the atomic understanding of the atom or relativity and so on. You will find truths there, and they're found in the Vedic descriptions of these subjects. And so they are truths within the realm of the material world. And other things are constantly changing. They're based upon a particular person's perception. And that maybe things change over a period of time. Anyway, whatever it is, Krishna appears in so many amazing ways, in so many amazing forms. So the atheists totally disregard it. They just kick it out as unreal, unacceptable. Because if they take it on board, then they'll start to analyze, offend, criticize, etc., etc. So Krishna keeps them far away. Even Vrindavan, they say, in many ways, the thorns, the heat, the hassle, it keeps people away. Of course, it's attracting many people now from a different angle, but it keeps people in general. There's nothing in Vrindavan really for a gross materialist. What will they get there? What will they get? Huh? You can go to the MBT and get a pizza, okay. What else will they get?
They don't know where they are.
Well, they don't know where they are, but what will they get by going to Vrindavan? It's dirty, it's dusty, there are monkeys stealing everything they can get their hands on, the people are pushing and shoving and begging, and it's hot or cold or whatever it is. Such a hassle, materially speaking. The electricity breaks down, your aircon doesn't work. You get sick from drinking the water.
Purification.
That we hope we get. But from a materialistic person, a gross materialist, you can't see anything from going to Vrindavan.
Unknown pious credits.
Unknown pious credit, but they can't see that.
But even it's sanctioned
Imperceptible.
by Radharani Krishna, that one particular soul is somehow relative to the circumstance, and they go, oh, okay, go, come,
Everything.
go.
Yeah, everything is orchestrated. But if a person lucky enough to go into that, at least into the atmosphere, they get some benefit. I remember one time we were in Vrindavan, it was 6:30, 6:45, must have been summer, at night. Indra Prabhu was leading kirtan. And a group of about 30 businessmen came in. They were in a tour, mystery tour. Some of them didn't come in, they refused when they saw it was a Hare Krishna temple, they didn't want to go in. Some of them did, maybe 12 or 15 came into the temple. I was watching them. I talked to some of them about 20 years ago. I talked to some of them. They were German businessmen. They were, dressed in suits and open collar, so it was warm. But they came in and to the temple. It was packed. You know what a packed temple in Krishna Balaram is like. Nobody cares about anyone. That old lady from Rajasthan, even if you're a Swami, she just like knocks you on the floor, sweeps you away, smashes your dunda, you're paying obeisance, she just steps on you and goes straight over to the deities. The whole town was like packed, and he's leading kirtan, so at the front is everyone's going wild, And the business were on the side of the temple. I went to speak to them. They spoke English. Now, what do you think of all of this? What do you think of all of this? I'm kind of looking. One of them said, I've never heard anything as incredible in my life.
That's a good answer.
I've never heard anything so incredible in my life. He said, I've been to so many philharmonic orchestral presentations. I love music. I've never heard anything like this in my life. And he said, it's gone straight to my heart. It's like pierced. In other words, it was piercing through the coverings and entering his heart. He was touched by the sound. Powerful sound vibration. This is how our hearts become cleansed, how the perception changes. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, when we expose ourselves to the transcendental sound vibration of the holy name, we may accept or not accept, but we can't understand. We may have faith, we may not have faith, but we cannot realize or understand. The realization comes from desire, of course, on our part. If we don't have the desire, why should Krishna force it upon us? Desire, application, of course, which you mentioned, practice. That process, we have to practice properly. If you have a formula or a recipe, but you don't follow it, how do you expect to get the result? There's a formula or a recipe. We follow that, apply it, and if it's a bona fide recipe, you'll get the result. But it still depends upon the mercy of the Lord, the ultimate feature. So you could say there's more too, but 3 factors there. 1, you have some desire, however it's evoked, but some desire, the right process according to our condition, and the mercy of the Lord descending down. They're all descending down. I mean, the process is also descending down, but it appears to be something which we can, let's say, grasp according to our conditioning. So like that, we gradually heart becomes purified. As the heart, Shuddha, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sajja Kabhanai, Shuddha Chitte, when the heart becomes cleansed, purified. Shuddha Chitte, purified by the process of Shravana Nadi Shuddha Chitte, Karya Udai. Just like when the sun rises in the morning, the darkness is dissipated. You speculate at night, what is it? You can't see. When the sun rises, at least from the material perspective, we can see what it is. It was a tree or a cow, or you can't see at night. You can maybe hear something or some vague outline. When the sun rises, it becomes clear. So when through Shravana Nadi, hearing and chanting, the heart becomes cleansed, that means our inner consciousness becomes cleansed, and one can perceive by the grace of Krishna. Hare Krishna. So now, time for breakfast.
Jai. Jai ho.
Jai ho. Jai ho. We live in Alachua, or where do you live?
We live in Vrindavan.
You were based in Vrindavan,
yeah,
huh?
Our permanent base. Hopefully.
Have you been there a long time in Vrindavan?
For as long as I've been on the planet, I've been coming to Vrindavan.
Visiting, but you have another like base in America, or no?
No.
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 You're just
Fully
visiting.
Committed.
Pardon?
Fully committed.
Wow, wonderful.
That's
So
right.
why are you going to Orlando? You're not going to Disneyland?
Passport.
Going to see Disneyland or something?
Passport.
Visa, passport, things like that. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
I need a look. I think it was in the last 6 months. I can't remember the exact celebratory day, but it was. I recollect. We can understand and we can have this mercy and we can have this experience, but we need a ticket. We need a modest ticket. Have you heard of this term?
Modest ticket?
Yeah, a modest ticket. We still need one though.
We all need it.
We want to go, okay, yeah. we like it, we can enjoy it, okay, from a distance, but we still need a ticket, a modest ticket.
You need a modest ticket.
Yeah.
Modest ticket. Yeah, well, we need a very...
if you don't have any money, then you can't go.
Well...
You know what I mean? The spiritual...
Yeah, as you well know, because you're in the atmosphere of Vrindavan, you get the opportunity to associate, but we all know that that's to help accelerate our, you could say, eligibility or attraction for real Vrindavan. We get that when we hear about Vrindavan, when we associate with those who are in Vrindavan, etc., then we can become really attracted. Where even if you are in Orlando, you're in Paris, or in Dublin, wherever you are.
Yeah, we're here and we're having association, and therefore we're able to purify and make it service.
Exactly.
Without any service.
So that's the whole point which we mentioned about Lord Ram becoming eligible to enter into Ram Leela or Krishna Leela or whatever Leela it is the eligibility to enter in. So being in Vrindavan is what we understand. The manifestation of Vrindavan in this world, in Boma Vrindavan, is most fortunate. Most fortunate. But it's also most fortunate to be here in Paris and having the opportunity to fulfill the desire of Radha and Krishna, of Srimati Radharani, to spread Vrindavan everywhere. To give this, and it's not that you go straight in the deep end talking about Vrindavan, but to give the eligibility so that persons who are in the darkness, their eyes can gradually be opened to Krishna consciousness. And then gradually they become attracted.
Maybe they don't want people can't have there's so many millions of reasons why people can reject and accept.
Yes, they can, but the devotees, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, don't disturb them, but Prabhupada says the devotees are even more merciful than Krishna. They go out of their way to disturb them. By going on Harinam Sankirtan, distributing prasadam, distributing books, just being there, just seeing a devotee in a dhoti or a sari with tilak and so on, people will remember Krishna.
This is the outreach program. Outreach.
So many ways. So many ways.
If no one can go there, then Krishna will come here.
As Muhammad said, if the mountain doesn't come to Muhammad, Muhammad will go to the mountain.
Outreach.
Unlimited ways, avenues to try to hook, to catch the 8 billion fishes. There's 8 billion people on the planet. So we have to find ways of hooking them somehow or another, even if they're not completely caught. But at least something there, some agyata sukriti has to be there. So if they just see.
We go on a bus, okay, the bus driver is driving a bus, he knows his bus, right, the well of his existence. And we have this experience, even last year, just for an example, we're in Los Angeles, okay, one of the capitals of the planet. You're on a bus, and the bus driver said, oh yeah, I've heard of the name Krishna.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, and then they started
already. He's on the path, because he's somehow or another, Prabhupada and others have gone all over the world and reminded the world of Krishna.
And that's inconceivable also.
That's also inconceivable. Everything's inconceivable, so Prasadam is also inconceivable, so let's go and associate with inconceivable Prasadam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go prema.